Welcome everybody to the Noble Manhattan USA East Coast Coaching Support Group. I just want to say welcome to all the coaches, the people that are looking to be coaches, and people who are interested in coaching. And so our support group is run by a coaching team. There's 5 of us. There's me, Maria, Michael, Emily, and Petra. And today not everyone was able to be here. However, we thought we want to extend what we do here at the coaching support group. And so we are going to make available a way to contact us directly. So you can reach out to the coaches for a one-to-one to get a private coaching taster with one of us for about 20 or 30 minutes. Or if you have questions about becoming a coach and you want to inquire and just chat with us, we're going to be dropping our contact information into the chat, and it'll also be in the newsletter later. So you have an easy way of contacting us privately if you have any questions about coaching whatsoever. Then our ambassadors, Susan and Glenn Phillips, thank you for being here and supporting the group. And talking about ambassadors, our group is growing. And so today we had 40 people sign up. And what we are really in need, and so I'm reaching out to you, and I want to ask you if you can help support our coaching support group. We do need a couple social media ambassadors. It's really easy. Everything that we give you, the graphics will already be done. The text will already be written. So we're basically just asking you to reshare on your network and help us spread the word a little bit so we can grow this group just a little bit more. So if you're interested, you can either reach out to us for a one-to-one or send us an email, reply to the newsletter. So there's different ways, pick up the phone, whichever way is most comfortable to you, get in touch with one of us. And we would really appreciate that. And so what's the purpose of our group every time? Really, this is all about coaching, and because coaching has kind of, people think of a sports coach, they don't really know what a life coach does or a business coach does, or when you just hire a coach for achieving a specific goal. It's different than having a sports coach. And so we want to show people how coaching works. And the magic happens in the breakout rooms after the presentation. However, we really want to focus on when you leave here today, that you have something that lifts you up, that you had a big flash of the obvious, that you had an aha moment, something good that you can take with you. So your time, we're not just socializing, but that there's something that just took you one additional step closer to the person that you want to be. And this is when I talk about the breakout rooms. Stay after the presentation. You will be automatically moved into a breakout room. There will be a coach in each room, maybe even 2 coaches. And then we will explain what we're doing in there. And that is all confidential. That is not recorded. And that's where the magic happens. So hang around after the presentation. And now I'm going to hand it over to Maria. And I'm going to step off that screen for a minute.
That was brilliant. You really disappeared there. All right. So it's my pleasure to introduce Sue Brooke today. We have a very promising topic. A lot of us, don't learn this in school, and it's something that we all need, especially when we go into our own businesses. So Sue is a professional speaker, best-selling author, business and marketing strategist, and a relationship marketing and networking expert. Today, she's going to share with you and us how she built a tribe of raving friends in just a few short months after moving into a new community. She's also going to share with us how she gets new business and referrals consistently, and how she builds her businesses purely by building relationships. So I'll pass it on to Sue. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, I'm going to pin you. We don't have the technique completely figured out, Sue, but we're getting there. Okay.
That's okay. All right. Hi, guys. Oh, my gosh. That was a big picture on me on the screen. Okay, I'm Sue Brooke. I'm going to share my screen. Do I have the ability to do that? Let me see. Oh, good. Okay. So let me do present. All right. So today, you guys, I'm going to talk to you about attracting your most profitable customers, turning them into raving fans, and having them knocking down your door with referrals. So I think we all want that, right? So a little bit about me, she already kind of told you. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My first business was when I was 22 years old. I grew up in the background in the middle of Nebraska, literally in like Mayberry. And I went to school to be an elementary school teacher, actually. And I got out of college and I got my first job at Fred Astaire Dance Studio. I love to dance. And so I learned really quickly, like I was thinking it was all about teaching people how to dance like a teacher, but it wasn't, it was a business. And I saw tons of checks coming in, like thousands of dollars for coming in. And it was my first experience with business. So I didn't know what the word entrepreneur meant or any of that stuff. Most people back in Nebraska in those little towns, you know, took over the family farm, or they were a nurse or a doctor or teacher. So anyway, that was my first experience. So basically what I did is one of the dance instructors and I got together and I went back to my college town way back then. I was only 22 and decided to start our own ballroom dance studio. Well, I didn't know one thing about business. I didn't have a clue. And we got everything ready. And then it was like, we opened the doors and went, oh, we need customers. That would be good, right? We need some clients. So we had no money for marketing. And so I just got out there and I started going out and networking and building relationships and learning how to go out and build my business really with no money. So that was my first experience. Fast forward, my claim to fame is an educational learning center. I had 2 locations in Southern California. I had lots of employees. I had basically a school, tutoring, after school, summer camp, private school, which I sold back in 2015. And then this happened. So I got a crazy message on Facebook from a lady that said she was a cousin of my mother's and that her nephew put his DNA into Ancestry.com and it looked like I had a sister. Well, this girl right here next to me is my sister that I met through Ancestry.com. And that picture, believe it or not, was the day we met, and we did not plan the outfits in advance. We actually showed up exactly like that. So it's funny. So I got rid of everything. I'd already sold my business and I moved up to be with her and live with her. And by the way, we did this all the time. We'd come out of the house with the same clothes on, or she's pretty amazing. So I moved to this community where I didn't know anyone, and we had fun for a couple of weeks. And then she said, Sue, I have to go to work and you're on your own. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I did today. I'm going to show you exactly the steps that I did, where I literally went out and as an introvert, believe it or not, I got out of my comfort zone and I went out, and within just a few months, Kathy and I could not go anywhere without somebody coming up to me, like while we're eating lunch, and they knew who I was, what I did, and they all had something that I had sent them on their desk. So it was like my whole life changed. So I'm going to tell you every single step of what I did. I'm going to share I call it my referral generation follow-up customer retention system. So it all goes together. Now, we call it relationship marketing, and I'm sure you've all heard relationship marketing, the term, but the problem is people put the emphasis on the wrong word. They always put the emphasis on marketing. Now, you see this all the time, especially on Facebook and LinkedIn. There's lots of people just promoting themselves in marketing, when if they would spend the opposite, if they spend 80% of their time building relationships, like authentic relationships, and only 20% on marketing, their whole entire business would change. So I call it crockpot marketing. Somebody kind of came up with that term and then I copied it, but think about this. Which would you rather eat food out of? Would you rather eat it out of a microwave or a crockpot slow cooker? Well, I think you all are going to answer the same question. I made microwave meals for many years and I can't even take it anymore. So I want the crockpot. Relationships are the same way. You can't microwave a relationship. It takes time. But the food, everything tastes so much better, right? All right. So here we go. I hope you guys have a lot of notes. I talk kind of fast, and I know I only have a short time today, so I'm going to get like a 2-day seminar in this 45 minutes or whatever I have left. So here we go. I'm going to give you the steps that what I did. the first thing, step one, you want to get out and network with people. Now, of course, I like this picture. I left it up there because I'm sure we'll be back to this before you know it. So the first thing that you want to do, number one, is figure out who you want to meet. And I do a whole entire presentation on discovering your most profitable avatar, which an avatar is a representation of your ideal client or referral partner, I call it. So you want to figure out who you want to meet. All right. And now I'm going to give you how to do that. Now, a lot of people, when they go out networking or they get on, now we're virtual pretty much, but people, if you have your mindset set like this, okay, I'm gonna tell you how to get your mindset around there. So every single person you meet, I don't care if it's a networking group or in line at Starbucks, those are contacts. I call them contacts. It's somebody that you're in contact with. And every single person that you come in contact with are going to fall into one of two buckets. They're either going to fall into the prospect bucket or a referral bucket. And the prospect bucket, I'll just tell you right now, that means that somebody you meet might be a prospect that would turn into a customer. But that bucket is kind of little. Okay, it's a little small because not everybody wants what you're selling. I hate to say that. People are like, well, that's a whole other seminar I do too on figuring that out. So not everybody wants what you're selling. I much rather have this gigantic bucket. I want to meet people that could potentially be a referral partner, and they'll tell all the people they know, and that will lead to a lot more customers. So when you're out networking or on wherever you are in the virtual world networking, think about, instead of trying to sell every person and going out there and promoting yourself to get one customer, try to figure out, who do you know that has access to all of those people? Okay, who do you know that could be the best referral partner for you? Okay, for example, I was living in Sonoma County with my new sister. Hemp oils and CBDs and that whole thing, everything's grown up there, so that's really big up there. So the people that were really super successful, they're not out there trying to sell one bottle of this or cream or whatever to one person. They're going out and finding, let's say, chiropractors. So chiropractors, their clients are in pain, right? Well, they need these hemp CBD creams or whatever that they use for pain, for one thing. So they went and found people like chiropractors that would sell their stuff, if that makes any sense. So that's the mindset you need to have. So what I want you to write down is describe in detail your best client and your best referral partner. Okay. A lot of people forget that referral partner part. So take time after this session to really think about that. After you figure out who you want to meet, you want to figure out where they hang out. Okay, you have to do your research, first of all, to figure out who you want to meet, and then where are they in the world, and go there. Okay, your client, your potential clients or referral partners aren't everywhere. Like mine, I want to meet business owners. They probably weren't on Pinterest necessarily. So think about where they hang out. Are they in meetup groups? That's a huge opportunity, meetup groups, because there's meetup groups for every niche you can possibly think of. Chamber of Commerce's, BNI, if you want to meet local serious business owners, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Alignable. Alignable, by the way, you guys, what you didn't know is I actually work for Alignable now. And Alignable is amazing. And it's actually between that, Alignable and this other system that I'm going to tell you about today, that's how I became kind of a celebrity up in this new community within a few short months. Because Alignable is, when you go on there, if you're not familiar with the platform, it's very easy to search for people in your local neighborhood. So it's easy to find people that you want to meet. Okay, so make a list of places where your ideal client or your ideal referral partner would hang out. Another thing that I did is I started my own group. So if I didn't want to go, I was out there going to those places, but I actually started my own meetup group when I went up there, and it was called, like, I don't know, Ignite Your Business and Marketing and Mastermind or something like that. And I met so many people that way because they were searching for my meetup group, and I met people that way. You can also start groups, on Facebook and I think LinkedIn. Alignable, brand new platform where you can start groups on Alignable as well. And then I actually started my Mastermind with Sue groups. By the way, you're all invited every single Friday. I've been doing it for a little over a year. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, I wanted to help as many entrepreneurs as I could. So it's a place to come and experience a little power mini mastermind. It's awesome. So I created that, and oh boy, that changed a lot of things in my life. Okay. Number 3. So once you go out, you figure out who you're going to meet. Okay. You want to make a connection. All right. So when pre-pandemic, when we were out there and I was in person, I am myself an introvert, so I always tried to find the other wallflowers, the ones that were kind of, you could tell they were introverts too, and I would make a connection with them. You can do the same thing on Zoom calls and things like that. You can always kind of tell the people that are a little more introverted. Plus, you also can hear more about people and do a little bit more research to figure out who you want to meet. So the main thing is you don't have to meet everybody. Okay, you want to pick and choose who you want to meet. So Alignable, for example, is you're only limited to the number of a certain number of connection credits, and they do that for a reason. They want you to be more intentional about the people you meet. So you make a connection with them, and this is what I did. I'm just going to tell you what I did. I would make a connection with someone, and then I would go and find them on Facebook. And I loved Facebook because you can learn a lot of things about people. You can learn what they love, what's important to them, and all of those things. So I would friend them on Facebook and engage on their posts, and get to know them a little bit better on a personal note. You can send them a private message, tell them why you would love to meet them, and then meeting them face to face. So what you want to do is make the connection and schedule time to meet on a one-on-one, okay? And you can do that on just about anywhere now, right? So schedule a time to meet one-on-one. So when you're writing down your notes here, think about who you need to schedule time with. Somebody that could be a potential customer, but I highly recommend you go and try to find the right referral partner. And just to let you know, I wanted to meet business owners. So when I sold my business, my dream was to go and help as many business owners as I could. So I would go and find, there's tons of women entrepreneur groups. I would go and find the person leading that group because they had a relationship with all the people in their group. So think about that. All right. So number 4, connect with them on social media. Like I said, what I did is I would meet someone, and then I would set up the one-on-one, or sometimes you don't really have time to do that, especially on the virtual things. So I might meet them, and I would send them a nice to meet you card in the mail. And one of the things, the system that I use, would go to all these networking groups, and I take a selfie picture with somebody. I go, hey, let's take a picture together. I don't want to forget what you look like. And then I would take their picture and put it on the front of a card and write a nice message and send it to them in the mail. And I'm going to show you kind of how I did that. So this guy right here is Dave. And this is exactly what I did. I met Dave at this chamber mixer in Roanoke Park, California. And I took that picture. That was the first day I met him. And I sent him this card in the mail that came in his actual physical mailbox. And I just said, hey, it was awesome meeting you at the mixer. I'd love to come by your office to learn more about your business. Call me when you get this and let's set up some time. And he literally called me right away and said, oh my God, that was so cool. I would love to meet with you. So I went to his office, scheduled time, went to his office, and I'm going to tell you what happened with this card. I'm going to tell you what changed in my life, everything, because of Dave. Dave was a financial planner. So that's exactly what I would do, and I'll tell you what happened with that in a second. So the next thing you want to do is I send a card like that, then you meet face to face. Now, this, I really want you to listen and think and spend some time listening to this story, because I have a powerful story I want to tell you here. Your intention when you're meeting people face to face, on Zoom, in person, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. When you're meeting them face to face, your intention, and that word is bolded and big, has to be about one thing, just one. And it's building a relationship of some sort with them. Learning about them. My favorite thing to ask somebody is, what is your story? Tell me your story. You know what happens when you do that? Like, people's eyes light up, their shoulders fall back. It's just amazing what happens when you ask people to tell you their story. Plus, they're fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So you want to make it about them, not you. And I'm going to tell you, this is the story I want to tell you. You want to be genuinely interested in them, genuinely, because their stories are fascinating. Now, I have this picture of an airplane because I want to remember to tell you this powerful story. All right, this story literally gave me goosebumps. It blew my mind. So here's what happened. I just heard this a few months ago and I was like, my gosh. So there were this group of people, and they got a bunch of people together that were going to take a flight, an airplane trip, from a short trip. It was like from San Francisco to LA or something. So it was a short trip. And they got these people together and they said, here's what we're going to do, a test. We're going to seat you on the plane. Each one of you are going to sit with somebody that you don't know, that isn't in this group. They don't know anything about what we're about to tell you. We're going to seat you next to somebody, and this is what we want you to do for the whole flight. All we want you to do is we want you to ask that person that you're sitting next to questions about them. Just, what's your name? Where do you live? What do you do for a living? Do you have any kids? Whatever it is, just ask them questions. They said, if they come back and try to ask you a question, go ahead and answer it, but then turn it back around on them and do that for the whole flight. So that's what happened. They got done with the flight. They got off the flight, and that group of people grabbed the seatmates, the ones that didn't know what was going on. And here's what happened. Like, this is gonna blow your mind. So they went to all those people, and they'd go up to the person and they say, so how was your flight? That was great. What was the person next to you? Did you have a good seatmate that was sitting next to you? And they're like, oh yeah. And they said, oh, cool. They started asking, what was their name? And they go, I don't know. Where were they from? Where were they going? I don't know. They started asking questions, normal questions about them, and they didn't know anything. But they said, it was the most interesting person I've ever met in my life. They said the person sitting next to them that was asking all those questions that they don't know one thing about was the most interesting person they'd ever met. What does that tell you? That it made them, whatever it was, it made them feel so good about themselves that they loved that person. So think about that when you're meeting people in person. I've had a couple of people do that to me, and it's just crazy. It's like you don't even realize they're doing it. But it makes a huge impact. So I hope you like that story. It blew my mind. Discover how you can help them. Who can you connect them with? That's a great thing to do. And find out how you can work together. Try to become referral partners. If you do all of these things, they're going to be so curious about what you're doing. Who knows? They could turn into a client, but you really want that referral partner. All right, hope you guys are still with me. It's hard to do this because I can't see your faces. All right, number 5, once you start going out there and you are meeting these people and you make the connection, you meet with them, you have to follow up. So every time I speak, I always say, who loves to follow up? And like, nobody ever raises their hand because in their heads, they think, oh, I don't want to pick up the phone. I don't want to bug anybody. But you guys, it's a mindset thing. What do you think the number one reason is that people don't come back? Like if you have a client that leaves and they don't come back and buy from you again, or they don't refer you. Here it is. People do business with and refer people that they know, they like, they trust. We've heard that a bazillion times. They know, like, and trust only if they remember you. Okay, if you are not top of mind with them and they aren't thinking, believe me, nobody's thinking about you. Like I was like, oh, people are always like, well, how come they haven't called? They haven't called me. Oh my gosh, because they're not thinking about you. They have their own life going on. We all have our own lives. So you got to do something to just put yourself in front of them, whatever that is. So who right now do you need to follow up with? And I'm going to tell you this was probably the thing that changed everything for me with my vision on follow-up. When I had my tutoring business, my school, we had an after-school program and private school where we would have parents come in and they would take a tour. We'd give them a tour of the place. And then, they were probably going around to all the other places in the area. Well, one day I got a phone call. One of my directors said, hey, this lady wants to talk to the owner. She's kind of mad. And I was like, weird, what is she mad about? And so I answered the phone and I said, hi. And she said, she goes, I'm kind of mad. And I said, what happened? I'm so sorry. She said, I came in last week or a couple of weeks ago and took a tour and nobody followed up with me. She said, nobody followed up with me. And I think I fell off my chair. It's like people want you to follow up with them. So that is when I went over and above and I went to Target or wherever it was. I bought a giant thing of thank you cards and that turned out to be one of our systems. Someone would come take a tour. We'd grab a card. We'd send a thank you so much for coming in. It was great to meet you. Can't wait to work with your son or daughter, whatever it was. And I can't tell you how many people came back and said, you know what? We were looking at all these other places. You're not the cheapest, but we're going with you because you're the only one that sent me a thank you card. You're the only one that did that. So write that down. Let it sink in. This is powerful stuff here. It's all you have to do. So I hope you're still with me. I'm going to take a drink of water here. And Beatrice, let me know if I'm getting towards the end here. I'm trying to talk as fast as I can. All right, so next you have to create a follow-up top-of-mind system. Okay, you can't just do it willy-nilly because we forget, we're busy. We're meeting lots of people these days. So the people you want to follow up with are, number one, your prospects. So I would get a spreadsheet or something and have prospects, your current customers, referral partners, and your past customers. And I put a star by this because I'm going to tell you a story that broke my heart. Okay, I'm going to get to that story. I just want to remember to tell you, customer lifetime value. Think about what that is. How much is each one of your customers worth? And then I think you'll start thinking about following up with them, right? It's like when I had my tutoring business and I'd get a kindergartner coming in, maybe that cost $500 a month. Well, that kid was not worth $500 a month. I wanted him to stay a whole year. So you take 500 times 12. And then how many years till he goes to college? Okay. And then how many people, if you love on them enough, how many people are they going to refer to you? So that customer could be worth millions of dollars. My very first tutoring student he was in first grade. I loved on his family, made friends with them. They told everybody that child, my first customer, was worth at least $1 million in my business. Think about that. So here's the story that broke my heart. This is how important it is to follow up and stay in touch, actually just stay top of mind with your past customers. So there was this realtor that one day he's like, you know what, I think I'm going to send holiday cards this year. And he'd been keeping in touch with his current customers and his prospects, but he stopped after he sold somebody's house or helped them buy a new house. He never, ever, ever kept in touch with them again. So he went back and he got all of his past customers' addresses and he sent them all holiday cards. And this is a picture of some of them that came back. They all came back undelivered with that scary little yellow sticker that says undeliverable on it. And he went, what the heck happened? Why am I getting all these back? And so he went to the MLS and he literally did his research and he learned that all of these people had sold their house and bought another one with different realtors, and it could have been him. And he figured out how much money he dug deep and figured out how much his how much in sales he lost because of that, and what his commission check could have been. It was like $2 or $3 million in sales, whatever it was, that he lost because he didn't keep in touch. So if you sell something like a refrigerator or a car or a house or whatever, those people could be the best referral partners for you of anyone. You need to treat them like gold. So think in your notes, who do you need to get back in touch with? Who do you need to send out a card to, or call or text or whatever, just check up on them. People aren't thinking about you, right? All right, so email. There's a lot of ways to stay in touch with people, okay? So email, 15, 20 years ago, oh my gosh, too much mail. There was way too much mail. But ding, you've got mail was so exciting. But now it's funny, I gotta fix this. 220, that's nothing. I probably have 22,000 unread emails because I can't stand it. I don't have time for that. But when people get a tangible, personalized letter or card in the mail, it stands out above everybody. So just to let you know, only about 17% of emails are open, and only about 2% of emails are actually read. So, but greeting cards have a 100% open rate, 100%. Every single person, no one's gonna leave a card sitting on on their table, on their kitchen table. So did you know, and I have to throw this in there, customers do not leave you because of price, ever. They don't. I'm proof of that. 85% of clients are lost because they don't feel appreciated. People spend more money trying to get new customers, so much money and time is money in my opinion, instead of appreciating the ones they already have. And I'll tell you, the price thing is absolutely 100% true, because when I had my tutoring business, I started that business because I wanted to help all the poor people. So I charged very, very little. I was like the cheapest in town, but I took really good care of my clients. And I got to a point where I was like, I better raise my rates or I can't pay the rent. So I started raising my rates, and I was scared that people were going to leave, but I kept raising them a little bit more and nobody left, a little bit more, until I was the most expensive in the whole entire town. And guess what happened? Nobody left me. More people referred people, and my business grew like crazy because I took care of my clients. And so it's not about price, it's about appreciation. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about the thank you card. Thank you cards, the tangible thank you card. I'm not talking about an e-card or an email card. I'm talking about a tangible card that they can touch and feel and see. Generates more referral business than any other form of communication. And I'm going to give you 3 examples of very famous people. Number 1, write the book down, How to Sell Anything to Anybody. Go read that book. It's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. Joe Girard, if you don't know Joe, he back in the 70s, he earned the title of the Guinness Book of World Record for selling the most cars in a year. And he sold like 15,000 cars in his lifetime. I think it was 1,500 or something like that in a year. So in this book, the reason he had that title for so many years, literally someone just in the last 2 or 3 years, I think recently, actually finally broke his record. And I think they did it by doing what he did. And what he did is every single person he met anywhere, it didn't even matter whether he sold a car to them or not, he sent them cards. He sent every person 13 cards a year. He'd send a card for every month for different holidays and birthday card. He'd send their kids birthday cards. That's how he did it. And at the end of his career, he had lines of people waiting in line, and someone was letting them go one at a time. So, because they would only buy the car from him. Huge, great book. Tom Hopkins has the Thank You Note Habit, How to Master the Art of Selling. He's a multi-billion-dollar real estate mogul. He says he always wrote 10 handwritten thank you notes every day. And Mary Kay Cosmetics, I think it's probably a bigger billion-dollar industry than that. I've had this slide for a while. She told her reps to send 3 handwritten thank you notes every night before bed. So if that doesn't tell you how important a thank you card is, then I don't know what is. All right, I'm getting towards the end here. I want to show you kind of things what I did. So here's something that I did. The system that I use is I'm able to put pictures on the front of cards. I have all my information on the back of the card. I can write a really personalized message in my own handwriting. They make your own font with your own handwriting. So this is my favorite thing to do, the big one with all the pictures. I will post on Facebook, hey, post your favorite pet picture, or post your favorite family picture, or something like that. And I'm telling you, especially the pets, you guys, that's a secret trick. People love their pets more than anything. And so 100 people would post pictures of their dogs and cats and birds and tortoises and whatever. So here's what I did. I do that. I haven't done it in a while. I got to do it again. I would private message each person. And I don't know these people, you guys. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook. I know pretty much hardly any of them. But I would message them and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for posting that beautiful picture of Fluffy or whatever. I want to send you and Fluffy a surprise. Can I get your mailing address? And every single person gave me their mailing address. Nobody wanted to give me their email address, but they all gave me their mailing address because I was going to send them a surprise. And I can't tell you how amazing that was. I had one girl drive 2.5 hours to hear me speak because I sent a picture of her cat on the front of the card. So doing things like that. And on the inside of the card, I would say something like, like I said, enjoy the memory, your Facebook friends do, or whatever. The other kind of card was over there, I love sending positive quote cards. I'm a super positive, happy person. And so I send a lot of positive quote cards too. And I did that a lot when I was networking in person. And still, people tell me, Sue, I still have that quote card that you have, and it's in my bathroom right on my mirror. I look at it every single day, and all my contact information is on the back. Okay, so now I'm getting to the end here. Set yourself apart by reaching out in kindness with no intention of getting anything in return. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm looking at the camera. I don't know if you can see me or not, but the most valuable thing I can tell you right now, and I promise you, this is really true. If your intention, when you send out anything, whether it's a card, an email, a text, a phone call, if your intention when you're contacting these people is to get something back, it won't work. I promise you, it won't work. If your intention is just to say, oh my gosh, I really miss you. I'd love to just connect, or send them a card to make them smile. Like I love seeing, I never miss a birthday or a funeral. You don't want to do that. Most people don't even get birthday cards anymore. So that sets you apart. And my intention is not to get something back. It's to give. And it will come back to you in such huge amounts. I can't even tell you. Now I'm going to go back to Dave. Here's my final story. This is a big one. So I met Dave. I went to his office. He's a financial planner. And we had a great conversation, got to know him, learned about his business. And at the end, he said, Sue, I really want to meet again. I'd like to find out how we can work together. I need some help with my marketing, whatever. And I said, okay, Dave, I said, I'm sorry, tomorrow morning, I don't know when I'll be back, but tomorrow morning, I'm getting on a plane to go back to Nebraska because my father, we found out he's living alone and he has dementia. And my younger sister and I, we have to move him to a place, like a memory care place. And Dave got very serious and he said, I had to do that with my mother. So don't worry. Just let me know when you get back. And he was right. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. The hardest thing. And it was awful. And it was, I don't know if you've ever had to do this, but dementia is a terrible thing. So when I got home, here's what I got. In my mailbox, this is a picture of my dad. It's my favorite picture with him. My hair was a little different back then, but it was the last time we ever got to go to a restaurant. And this is the card that he sent. On the inside, it just said, greetings and welcome home, Sue. Thank you so much for our time together. I've been keeping you and your dad in my prayers. This is a tough time for this transition for both of you. Looking forward to working together. This card is with me all the time. He didn't want anything back for anything from me. He did this purely out of the kindness of his heart. He's not my financial planner. I don't do business with him. But I'm going to ask you a question. Who do you think I send all my referrals to? When somebody asks or says something, or says they want to find a financial planner or somebody to help them with insurance, I refer him to everybody. I don't know if he's a good financial planner, actually. I don't know if he even knows what he's doing, but I know what kind of person he is, and I know he cares, and he's become a good friend because of this. So that is my final thing. Other than this, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So, questions. I'm going to show one more slide, but I'm going to stop my share and see if anyone has any questions. Guys, you're still with me.
Thank you so much, Sue. That was very insightful. There's a couple of, I never thought that people are actually still sending cards, but I might be taking that approach. So Glenn asked here, can you review the follow-up top of mind system again?
Yes, actually, if you will go to sendhappinessnow.com, you can fill out the form there, and it automatically, as soon as you click send, you're going to get a PDF of a lot of the things that I talked about today. So yes, so you want to figure out who you want to meet. Where do they hang out? Go meet them and make a connection with them, right? Then set up a time to meet one-on-one. Follow up with them. Those are the basic things. And stay top of mind. Stay top of mind. Keep it going. Stay top of mind. In a nutshell, that's it. But definitely go to Send Happiness Now and do that. I'm going to send you a card. You'll go fill out your mailing address, so I can send you a card and give you an example of the kind of things that I love to send to people. Plus, there's a drawing for some free stuff too. So.
Awesome. Does anyone want to ask anything? This is the time. She's here.
No other questions?
You can just.
Okay, I see another question there, Maria. It keeps going, but someone said, how do you find the time to do all that follow-up stuff?
Okay, so the system that I'm using, the card system in particular, that has changed my life, like personally and for my business, it actually has a system in there. I'm one of those that I love to send the heartfelt cards, the ones that have a personal message. So I can do that, but it also has a system, like for my positive quote cards, where I can literally put in it has a whole CRM system, and you can put all your people in there and group them. And then I can say, I want to send, like every month, I'll send like 100 people a positive quote card. Okay. So I can go in there and I can say, I want this group of people to get this quote card, and I can push send, and it has it figured out where it will personalize each one of those. So I do things like that. And also you kind of have to pick your own time schedule. Like I love sending cards on like Sunday morning. I'll get up on Sunday morning, get my coffee, and I'll just start going through Facebook, or I'll start going through my list of people that I want to keep in touch with. And I'll just go, wow, I think I'm going to send them a quick, nice note. And I can literally send a card in like minutes. In 30 seconds, I can send a card to someone. So happy to show you how that whole system works. I know we don't really have time for that today, but if you want to meet with me, I'll show the screen on how you can contact me. I'll happy to show you how I do that.
I put a question in the chat. I logged in late. It was like quarter after, so I didn't hear everything, but what I heard, I loved everything what I heard. Are you to be sharing any of your slide presentation with anybody?
I'm trying to think what I could send to you. Actually, if you just go and get the PDF, that kind of goes through most of the stuff that I talk about. So just at sendhappinessnow.com, just go there and fill that out, and you'll get that. Okay. And then you can contact me and let me know if there's anything else that you want me to chat about.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you give us the name of the super secret system you use? It's so wonderful.
Absolutely. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Okay. First of all, before I show you that, make sure you write these things down. If you want to meet with me, and I'm happy to go over everything. I love meeting with people, and I like to find out what you're doing. Just go to meetwithsue.com. That just is my schedule. But you know, happy to do a strategy session with you for free. I do my power masterminds here, and here's the sendhappinessnow.com link. So, and this is my email over here. So I want to make sure you have all of that. So I got the wrong screen here. Sorry. Let me go get the other screen to show. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. Come on. Technology. Okay, here we go. All right. Share my screen. Okay, the system is, you may have heard of it before. It's actually called Send Out Cards. If you've heard of it before in the past, like before a few years ago, it was totally different system. Now it is absolutely, seriously, this has changed my entire life. So much so that I'm actually became an affiliate. Someday maybe I can come do my affiliate marketing presentation, but I'm an affiliate of this company because it's changed my life personally. So here's what it is. When you go to Send Happiness Now, there's actually, you'll see my picture. You can click on it and you can send a free card if you want to. This is the system. I mean, first of all, it has tons and tons of cards for thousands of, and they add new ones all the time. My favorite thing to do in a heartbeat, and I'll show you guys really super fast. This is what I do all the time. I want to create my own cards because I love the personalized thing. If I don't have good internet here, you can meet with me and I'll show you. It looks like it's a little slow, but I can go in here and actually create a card. Shoot, I don't think it's going to let me with all the stuff going on. I'll give you an example here. Here's an example of a card I made in 30 seconds. I literally can make this card in 30 seconds. This is Charlie, and Charlie is the dog of somebody at Alignable that loves his dog. And so I'm on his Facebook and I grabbed this cute picture of Charlie, put it on the front of the card. On the inside, I wrote a little message on the inside, and then you can put whatever you want on the backs of the cards. So this is one of my backs, and you can send it. So that's an example. Whoops, I didn't want to edit and save. I can go in and do that. I can add more pictures. There's things I can do, like you can send in your own handwriting, put your own handwriting font. I have my own signatures in here that I can add. I can add more pictures. And all that kind of stuff. So, and then when you go to the checkout, you can actually add gifts to go with the card. So there's a lot more to this system. Like I was saying, there's a system that you can automate the cards. You can do it like autoresponder, where you could set up a series of 1 card a month or 5 different cards that go out at certain dates, and you can just set it and forget it. So that's pretty cool, especially if you have lots of people you want to follow up with and just stay in touch with that way. So if you go to, like I said, Send Happiness Now, click on my picture there on that page, or and you can send a free card and get a free account. And then I'm happy to chat with you if you want to know how you could use it for your business.
I do have a question about Send Out Cards.
Sure.
I know in the years past, Send Out Cards used to sync up with Wise Agent, which is a real estate platform, contact management system. And then one of them, either Send Out Cards or Wise Agent, they did an update and they lost that synchronization. So do you know if Send Out Cards links up with any type of CRM?
You know, a couple of years ago, they have this thing called Sendogo, and there is some way to do that. I think whatever the system is, they have to attach it. So try to go to sendogo.com and see. I'm not quite sure. You could also call Send Out Cards and ask if they connect with whatever system you're using. I know they did start doing that a couple of years ago, but I've never used it. I've only used it for myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Yes. You did speak about Alignable and how much it changed and impacted you. So could you like just speak a little bit of how you started the group there, and if it's too much work to add to someone who already, for example, does a lot to try to, get clients every day?
Okay, Alignable is, if your intention, if you want to know what Alignable is about. So I get the question a lot of times is how best to use Alignable. And by the way, there's a new kind of a phase 1 of a learning center. If you go to, I think it's called growyourbusiness.alignable.com. There's some videos in there, growyourbusiness.alignable.com. I did a couple of videos in there that just real short ones to say how you can make the best use of the free account, how you connect with people. But what I can tell you about Alignable is, literally, gosh, I met so many people when I moved up north and didn't know anybody. I connected with them. Alignable is all about connecting and supporting each other. It's not at all like Facebook and LinkedIn. And I'll just tell you this kind of sums up Alignable for me. One of my friends, Sherry, called me one day a couple weeks back and said, you know what's amazing? She goes, I just had meetings with people I met on Facebook, on Alignable and LinkedIn. And she said, you know what's weird is she goes, all the people I met through Facebook and LinkedIn, all they wanted to do was sell me their stuff. They didn't even want to listen to me. They just wanted to tell me about their stuff. She said it was horrible. She said, every person I met on Alignable said, how can I help you? So that's what Alignable is about. So lastly, kind of to go, if this answers your question, Alignable also limits your connection credits. And the reason they do that is to keep out a lot of spammers. So you aren't going to find spammers on Alignable. And if you do, they'll take care of them. But they want you to be super intentional about the people you want to meet. And then I'll give you a little secret about Alignable. If you connect your email list to in your account, if you attach your email list, you can connect with anyone that's on your email list for free. You don't use your connection credits. And then the other secret, what changed for me, why it was so good for me is I would meet people one-on-one, and then I would write them a really nice recommendation, an authentic recommendation. They would write one back, and literally I would get calls. I still do. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I got a call, and I'm not doing business coaching like one-on-one, any of that anymore, but somebody called me like on the phone, and this happens all the time. I saw that so-and-so recommended you on Alignable. I want to know how we can work together. Like there was no selling involved. They saw the recommendation. And also one last thing about Alignable I can tell you is your profile there is super SEO optimized, meaning it comes up to the top of the search engines. So if you do nothing else on Alignable but have a really good profile with your keywords and your tags and everything, that's like free advertising. So that's really, really big deal too. So, and then the groups, definitely connect with me with groups. Groups are really, really growing on Alignable as well.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I didn't know about Alignable until today.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Let me know if you need any, if you have any Alignable questions, you can email me, sue@alignable.com, my Alignable email, and I can forward you on to the right people, but definitely connect with me.
Thank you. And I saw one last question, I think, on the chat. It was, I'm not sure if Lucy, you want to unmute yourself, but you asked, how can I find these people if they don't have Facebook? If you want to explain a little bit more, Lucy.
Well, yeah, there are people, especially this past year, some people have gotten rid of Facebook. So, if that happens, you just have to figure out where they are. Maybe I do have people that it's kind of a bummer, but sometimes I'll just email them and say, hey, I would, share a picture of something. I mean, I might do that, but yeah, unfortunately that takes that away. Unless Instagram, I mean, a lot of people are on Instagram. That might be a place too.
Thank you. I also have another question regarding Alignable. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. The question is, why is it that they always tell you how many people who look you up, but then they ask you to pay? You have to pay. Do you all pay for this Alignable? I mean, I don't know. I joined like quite a few months ago, but I don't actually know how to use the system, to tell you the truth.
Great. So definitely go to that growyourbusiness.alignable.com and look for I did a couple of videos. One is how to make the best use of your free account. Okay, you get like, I think 10 credits, free credits to connect with people. Plus you can connect, like I said, if you connect your address book with as many as you want. And then of course it doesn't cost any for that people to connect with you. So if you don't have enough connection credits, just email me and then I'll connect with you there. But the $30 a month premium is great once you get going. Like I was on the free account for years, and then the premium just gives you 30 more additional. So you get 40 total connection credits. Plus you get to see who's visited your profile and other things like that. You get to add, I think, more tags and things like that. You can spotlight things. There's quite a few things that you can do. And to give you like an inside scoop, there's going to be a lot more value things that are going to be added to the premium soon. So, so yeah, that's kind of how it works.
All right. Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Great.
I don't think there's any more questions on the chat, unless I'm not seeing them. So if anyone else wants to ask one last question.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Just, sue@suebrooke.com. You can always send me a note or whatever. Yeah, and then go fill out that form. I'll get in touch with you and send you a card. And if you want, I'll put a picture on it if you send me one of your favorite pictures. That'd be cool. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Cool. Well, I hope I gave some value to you guys. Definitely reach out. I'm here anytime you want to chat. And anyway, I hope you liked it.
Thank you. That's great.
Very
Very helpful.
insightful.